What's up, guys? My name is Jellycut5 and welcome to the Chelsea versus Newcastle review, where Chelsea came out on top in a 2-1 victory at Stamford Bridge in the 2 o'clock kickoff. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you never miss a video. A big win at the Bridge saw Chelsea move back into the top 4, and now what a game it was. Really needed to win today, and it is definitely what we had on the cards. Newcastle are a top team, and that definitely displayed today. I'm just very happy we was able to get over the line. We started fairly quick. Obviously, we had that disallowed goal to start off with. Cole Palmer just strayed slightly offside, unfortunately, in that moment in time. Really unlucky to do so because it was a well-placed finish at the end of the day, but just wasn't to be the case. But Palmer brought his magic. What a pass that was to Pedro Neto, who was able to feed in his teammate Nicholas Jackson, and it was a simple finish past Nick Pope to make it 1-0. All things were looking good at that particular point. We put a lot of pressure on after that first goal, and I felt like we could have been on for a second, but unfortunately that wasn't to be the case because in the 37-minute, Alexander Isak was able to get on the score sheet after a ball was pumped into the box after a VAR decision did conclude that the ball was played onside. It took for a few minutes to be able to make the decision, and it was a very tight call to make, but it was the case where he was onside. But luckily, Cole Palmer came to our reach in the second half. In the 47th minute, he put it to the near post of Nick Pope, and we did get the victory. A very well played game, a very tight game at the same time. Looking back on it, we played a different system also, and we've got different players playing in different positions that weren't obviously used to it. Obviously, I'll mention that in my lineup, but just really happy that we was able to get over the line and get a big 3 points. There's obviously massive factors to the point. The referee just didn't help us whatsoever. He had an absolute shocker today, but they always seem to do against us. I'm not too sure why it is, but I always feel they've got some sort of agenda against us. Robert Sanchez, again, just the output to be able to kind of make a goal kick was just really strange. It was quite clear that they've been practicing something in training as late, because they've been trying a system where they play it to the centre back plays it to the goalkeeper plays it to a winger, and a winger tries to see if he can offload the ball straight away and create some sort of a counter-attacking move. That's clear that's something that's tried to be bedded in training, but in fairness, it doesn't really seem to be that something that's going to work in the future. Just really looked very strange why we were trying it. But again, I'm not too fussed because we've won the game. There was a lot of pressure from Newcastle in the second half, and especially the first as well. I mean, as I mentioned, they're a top side. They had plenty of chances, and it was just one of those where we defended well, we kept our cool, and we really was able to get over the line. And it was the nice thing today that I looked at it and we just showed a bit of battle and we showed a bit of pride in our play, and that's exactly what we need to be able to get over the line. There were a few players that didn't realistically perform as much as I would like them to do, but at the same time, we're going to have players that aren't going to be at their top every single game. That's just how it is. But realistically, they dug in as a team. We got the result that was needed, and a massive 3 points going on to Manchester United next week. So Maresca will be happy with that. The fans will be happy with that. No one can say they're not at the end of the day, because when you get a result against a team like Newcastle now, then you can kind of celebrate it in a decent way, because they've got such a good calibre of players. And one player that I'd like to note is Lewis Hall. I've always rated him as a player when he was coming through our youth academy, and unfortunately we did sell him on in the end, and you can tell they've got a player there, because he was absolutely phenomenal for them today. And he was a really shining light for them. They didn't create an awful amount of chances. It was just the fact that they seemed to get the ball in the area quite a fair bit. Looking back on the stats, it's kind of even, but not to a certain degree. It's a very odd one. Possession 51% to 49, so we only had 2% more. 17 shots compared to their 11. 7 on target for us, 3 on target for them. 458 passes for us, 436 passes for them. So statistically, when you look at it, it's pretty even in fairness. Plenty of yellow cards as well. 9 yellow cards in the game, and the referees seem to hand them out left, right and centre now since they've implemented the new rules for the season. But at the end of the day, we were victorious and we got the 3 points. The other factor that I didn't mention later on into the game, Christopher Nkunku came on as a substitute, and he did get put down in the box, but I think he realistically kind of fell, or he had the minimalistic of contact, and he thought that it might have been a penalty, but that wasn't the case. That did eventually get overturned. So there was a lot of VAR involved today. We've had Palmer's disallowed goal, the offside potentially for their first goal from Alexander Isak, and the penalty disallowed. Moving forward to our lineup that did display today, we had in goal Robert Sanchez. I'm just going to go player rating straight away, 5.0, absolutely abysmal, not good enough for Chelsea and never will be. We've given him enough time, we really have, and are we going to have to drop amount of points for him to get dropped in the game? I don't understand, and I think the valid point to make is Maresca clearly wants him to play like that. Maresca clearly wants him to play out from the back. Maresca clearly wants the keeper to be able to see if he can make a decision to be able to pump it up the pitch. But his distribution today was absolutely abysmal. I think he had every goal kick that he had in the second half, not one of them met a Chelsea player. It's just so wayward, and if this is something that Maresca wants to implement with playing out from the back and playing from the goalkeeper, then it needs to be drilled in training, because when he's doing it in games, it just doesn't work, and there's a big problem with that, and we could have got caught out massively with the amount of times that Robert Sanchez gave away the ball, and they kind of clocked onto it later on into the game. Newcastle, they knew that he was going to lose the ball, and they pressurised him a lot. So yeah, not a good game by any means for Robert Sanchez, and definitely got away with one today, in fairness. Reece James came back into the squad. He obviously played against Liverpool, but he made his first home start of the season, and what a game it was for him. He absolutely put his neck on the line today. So many points where he was just getting stuck in, winning balls, clearing balls, and that one at the end where he kind of headed it on. It looked like he was going to score an own goal at one point, but he cleared it away, and what a phenomenal performance. So happy to see him back in the squad, and 8.0 for Reece James. Switching on to the right hand side, Malo Gusto was on the right. A little bit of a different role for himself, because obviously he has to play the inverted role as a right back. Sometimes it worked. I felt like he got in good positions, but other times I felt like he was caught out a little bit too much. I feel like if he would going up one end of the pitch, he wouldn't be able to get back to the other quick enough, and that seemed to be a downfall when trying to keep the shape as a back four. Wasn't poor, but wasn't anything special. So a 6.0 for Malo Gusto. Wesley Fofana and Levi Colwill were the partners today. 6.9 for them both. It looked like at one point Wesley Fofana was going to go off the pitch after an injury, and he went off the pitch a few times, and I thought, well, they might just take him off, but he still soldiered on. He's strapped up his knee, and off he went. Solid game enough. I felt like there was moments where he kind of lost out on challenges and fell over and different things, and that was the problem there, where it kind of could have gone wrong. For Levi Colwill, he just chased every ball today. He just didn't give up, and that's what I really like about him, to be honest. Showed a bit of grit between the teeth, showed a bit of fight, and that's exactly what we need for someone leading the line as the centre-backs. Moving forward to the midfield, Romeo Lavia and Moises Caicedo continued their great partnership. 7.0 for Lavia, 7.2 for Caicedo. They just work so well. They seem to feed off of each other perfectly. We've seemed to have found the midfield partnership that we really need. There's so many decent interceptions. The amount of times that Caicedo was just getting stuck in and winning the ball, it just seems to do it so much under the radar at the same time, and it's so nice to see, and it's enjoyable to watch at the same time when he's picking players out in the midfield, intercepting balls, making passes, trying to get forward. And same goes for Romeo Lavia. Just reads the play so well. He does so well to be able to pick the ball out of a hard situation, still be able to have the time to turn and move, know his surroundings, and then offload the ball. It was just really good from the both of them today, and I feel like they worked really well. I would say that for Noni Madueke, but again, just really poor today. 6.0 for Noni. Probably the player that touched the most of the ball today and did the less with it. I don't know why. I feel like he's lost his drive a little bit ever since the hat-trick against Wolves and that decent performance against Brighton. Just really lacklustre, and just doesn't seem to do enough for myself. So he gets in the positions, he drives at the man, but the final ball is just not good enough. And in the second half, I felt like he kind of just gave up in the end. I'm not too sure if he just ran out of steam, but just not good enough from Noni today, and I feel like we could be dropping him for the next match in the league and also the Cup. Cole Palmer, what can I say? Without Cole Palmer, where would we be? I'm not too sure, in fairness, because the boy just keeps on doing what Cole Palmer does, and whatever he does, it's just special. It really is. The pass to Neto, the passes in the middle, the little flicks here and there, the little runs, just everything was just sublime. The second goal that he scored today was just effortless, in fairness. Really effortless. I just don't know how he does it, but he just makes it so easy, but so special at the same time. Hats off to Cole Palmer, because he is an absolute worldie of a player. 9.0 for for Cole. And moving on to Pedro Neto, 8.6. Hasn't really had the luck of being able to start in the league. Obviously, been playing in a lot of the cup matches, had the odd start in the league, but hasn't really shone with the chances that have been given. But today, he was phenomenal. Today, kind of displayed the crossing displays that he had against Panathinaikos. Again, putting the ball into the box to Nicholas Jackson to get the assist was really, really good. And I was really happy with his performance all round. Looks a threat. I mean, Tino Livramento just could not keep up with him whatsoever. And that was the difference when you looked at Madueke causing problems compared to Neto. And it was just two completely different players. And Neto hasn't been in that squad for as much time as what Madueke has been. So realistically, there needs to be something looked at in that regard. But yeah, I was really, really happy with the performance that Pedro put in today. He's definitely worthy of another start. And he just needs to keep on going. The pace on him is just phenomenal. He seems to be able to run onto the ball and read the play. And the crossing as well is just sublime. So an 8.6 for Pedro Neto. And the final player that started, Nicholas Jackson, an 8.2. I said a lot between the people that I go to football with and so on that he will score 20 goals this season. And he's looking like he's already going to do that. And a lot of people didn't think that was going to be the case. But he is some striker. He really is. And people need to be bigging his name up a little bit more because he really puts in the effort. And he definitely showed that once again today. Decent first goal. And really put in the effort to be able to kind of just make the balls and make the play and so on. He was just absolutely phenomenal. Really enjoyed how he was able just to get onto the ball, turn his man, just drive at the player. He's got a lot of pace behind him at the same time, and he's a very kind of big presence in that area. So hats off to Jackson on the goal. Another goal in the league, and he's the 5th fastest Chelsea player ever to reach 20 Premier League goals. Moving on to the substitution, Enzo Maresca made 4 subs with Cucurella, Mudryk, Enzo Fernandez and Christopher Nkunku all coming onto the field. The substitutions were fairly late from Enzo Maresca today, which I didn't really understand because I felt like the changes could have made earlier to make somewhat of an impact. Mark Cucurella only had 12 minutes on the field. He did what he needed to do, was slightly out of position when chasing down, but I feel like it was a little bit mayhem at the back. Mikhailo Mudryk, 67 minutes he came on for Noni Madueke, didn't really make as much effort as what I'd really like to see. Enzo Fernandez just felled in for Romeo Lavia on the 72nd minute. He did fairly well, to be honest, and he was winning a fair few balls. So hats off for the 90 minutes that he did play. And Christopher Nkunku only had 12 minutes on the field, but he could have had 2-3 goals in that moment in time. So he made a massive impact coming off the bench, but a good result because at the end of the day that could have gone either way, and we could have been talking about now and being 2-2. There was moments at the end of that game where Reece James got stuck in and said he looked like he was going to score an own goal. Times where Alexander Isak went round the goalkeeper and we cleared it. So hats off to the boys today. We showed some fight, and now we go on to play Newcastle again in the League Cup. But the game that everyone's thinking about is the league game against Manchester United. And after the defeat against West Ham, they've got to be there for the taking. And we've got to get a result there. But until next time, that is it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe for more content. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you never miss a video. Cheers.